Before this video begins, I will officially give you a brief little summary of me officially buying this car and also putting on this pretty cool splash vinyl. And initially, I was planning on taking on Caesar for a second time, but as I now know, especially with this car, I need something to defend myself with, and unfortunately, because this car is an exotic and I have not done any club races first, just goes to show how well I'm doing at the moment, it's pretty clear to say that I need some practice with this thing first before we get on with racing Caesar again. So that's what I'm going to do first. By invitation only will be what we officially do here first. Now, I will show you a video of me purchasing this car and also putting on this splash vinyl. Here you go. And then I think after that we're basically out of the pricing range, because cars from here, they're a bit more expensive. The Saleen S7 is no doubt a good choice, but I'm not going to go any further than this. So, you know what? I'm going to pick the second cheapest car that's available to me, and that's this, the Jambala Turbo Coupe. I will buy this car now. And before we get on with our set of races with Caesar... Oh, we only have one upgrade available. Oh well, it's fine. I'll be alright with this. And I guess that's pretty much it. Except for saying that I'll put on the vinyl whilst I'm here, just to make the... Oh, I like that one. Yeah, I'll put it on that one. And yeah, you know what? I'm gonna stick with this car the way it is. I reckon I've made a good choice here by going for the Turbo Coupe. So there it is. I have now decided to purchase the Jambala Turbo Coupe, which, as you can quite clearly see, is based off of a Porsche 911 GT3, or largely based off of a Porsche 911 GT3. And basically, this is my first Class A car, which I have officially purchased. And in order to pretty much evade the mistakes of what I made prior to this, I'm going to do the by invitation only races first, because I cannot win this without a shield, and that shield I need is Zone. And unfortunately, I do not have Zone because I have won no races using an exotic car yet. I really thought for sure I was going to sneeze there, but I somehow held it in. Anyway, I will now head over to my first by invitation only event. And this car definitely feels a lot faster than my Lotus did. It has a lot more acceleration, is what I think. So, I will be doing one of 16 races in the Exotics Club races. Oh hey, it's the Jambala Ferrari, I believe. Two of them, if I'm not mistaken. And we're doing an unordered race. Luckily, however, I know precisely which direction to head. It's just a matter of me being able to control my car whilst I do it. I understand the purpose of accessing these special moves, but it would have really helped if with the faster cars you were basically just granted access to these special moves, because then you would just not have quite as much trouble over making the same mistakes over and over again. Which at this stage is becoming very obvious to me. And I think it's becoming pretty obvious now that these are mistakes I can no longer afford to make. And maybe that could just be a lack of skill, but the truth is, when has it ever not been a lack of skill with me? Although it doesn't matter, because I pull it off literally by thousandths of a second over Jen. Stoby 3rd, Mandrew 4th, and Baby T came home 5th. Followed by Kyle in 6th. Weren't there 7 of us in this race? I think that was probably by less than an inch. Whatever, I'll move on.
You better know how to drive a car like that.
Guess what, Oscar? I don't. But I did manage to win my first one using a car like this. This is probably going to feel like me having to adjust to the US Circuit Racer from Burnout 3. Which, at first, as I would have expected, right when I came back into the game, I was basically thrusted straight into the deep end. No ands, buts, or ifs. And that's kind of what this feels like as well. I mean, initially, I was terrible, but then, as I kept going further and further along into the run, eventually, everything started to make more and more sense to me. As I developed more of a somewhat mutual understanding of how the car worked, and also knowing precisely what I both did and didn't need to do. Okay, I need to know where that shortcut is. I have very clearly missed something. Without any wants or doubts, I am very clearly missing something right at the start that I need to take. And make damn sure I've taken it. I think that shortcut is going to be imperative off the launch, is what me thinks. And there's another fly right underneath me. And I flipped my car over again. That is very unsurprising, especially considering it is now summer. And using nitrous, and that was much better than my previous run. So Jess finishes 2nd, Lex 3rd, Jalil was 4th, followed by Boo in 5th, and T-Bone finishes 6th. Are there any more of us? I don't think so. Okay, let's move on.
Beautiful, man. Really beautiful. The car, not you.
Yeah, I figured that might be your sense of sarcasm, Vince. Whatever, I don't mind. 2 races down, and I think it's probably going to be either 5 or 6 to go. But we only need to do 1 more race, and then we will have Zone available to us. Because Zone also works for exotic cars, aside from tuners and sport bikes. And I figure I may need that. So let's continue this upward trend, hopefully. I doubt the upward trend will continue. And there are 7 of us this time. Okay. Let's see how we do. Hopefully, if it's possible, I will not get completely swarmed by the AI and therefore wrecked. I need to figure out how to stop turning too soon, because it's pretty obvious to say that there's no barrier there to protect me from if I turn too soon at the last corner of this course. I need to figure out how to stop doing that, because it's pretty clear to me that the last corner is going to be the most essential. Out of all these corners I need to get right, that to me is the corner I need to do right. And unfortunately I have been doing that corner unright, as you might have guessed. But at least I'm getting more money. More money that, unfortunately, aside from customization, I can only really spend... Okay. I don't turn too soon this time. And I hold on for the race lead, because I had to make sure my corner entry was correct. And this time, I did get it correct. So Edub finishes 2nd, Jalil was 3rd, followed by Jess in 4th, Matt 5th, Ying finishes 6th, and where is the 7th placed car? I will probably give him 20 seconds. Oh, there he is. And Baby T finished in 7th.
Wow, you took that one quick. Nice going.
I did have a little help, though, baby. Special Move Zone is now available for exotics. Yeah, I actually have a shield to fight with now. I'm not just fighting with a sword and no armor. That, by the way, is a good thing. Anyway, I will get my replay now, because I can. And I will just leave you to enjoy my craziness with this Porsche. You know, I think the main thing which really helped me in that run was knowing about how I made sure not to turn too soon in that final corner before the jump. And then basically, because my landing wasn't terrible, I somehow scored the win. Anyway, let's move on to our next race, and I will make sure to edit out the zone tutorial, because that's what I've done for all these others. Alright, let's go. On to race 4. Time now for race 4, Motor City. I'd say we're probably doing 6 races in one city and then doing 5 in the other 2 cities. I think that's what the idea is. Of course, I'm not going to do these all at once, but this time we have Chrysler ME412s here, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what the make and model is. I know it's a Chrysler, that's for sure. But anyway, let's see if I've managed to learn from at least 1 or 2 of my mistakes. Plus, I think the experience of driving through Detroit at these speeds, it's about as horrifying as it gets. Because it feels like you're just asking yourself to basically do probably over 150 miles per hour down Death Road. And that's basically what I think this feels like. It feels like I'm just trying to do 150 plus down Death Road. And that any mistake I make is basically a fatal mistake. Because it's gonna wind up leaving me... Because it's basically gonna wind up leaving me decapitated and dead. If I fuck up even once. Fortunately that time, however, I did not get trapped under the trailer. Unfortunately, the in-game mechanics don't accept the AI's mistakes as being no mistakes of my own. And at this stage I think it's becoming even more obvious now that my mistakes are about as costly and irreversible as they can physically get. And there's almost nothing I can do to prevent them, unless I get extremely lucky. And that time around I did get extremely lucky, after another completely wild ending. But I got the win by over half a second. Alexa second, Liam third, Drywall fourth, Ricky fifth, followed by Edub, and then it was Mark who finished seventh and last.
Real impressive, man, but you gotta stop playing with the kids.
Yeah. I don't know what to say in response to that. Oh, that's it. Okay. So, those were all 4 of our by invitation only races. So, I guess what that means is we can now take on Caesar. Because I at least have 1 bit of armor which is able to help me against him. So we're now 71% complete and we're up by 35 grand compared to where we were at before when I purchased this car. Of course the other races here, well, I'll get on with those another day. But of course we also have the by invitation only races to do in both Atlanta and San Diego as well. However, we have beaten part 1 of the by invitation only series, and next time, because I now have a bit more armor to play with, we will be taking down Caesar in his rematch, coming in the next episode.